Hello everyone, this is Amrit Pal Singh. Welcome to my next video on Apache Flink. In this video, I'll be teaching you how one can implement joins in the Flink. Okay, so I'm assuming that you already have a knowledge of joins. I'll be talking about how one can implement inner join. Inner join meaning is that based upon some common column, I'll be joining or I'll be combining two tables together. So in the case of Flink terminology, like we'll be talking about in the terms of files, not in the term of tables, right? So here I'll be having two files containing some set of columns. So I'll be combining these two columns or combining these two files based upon some common column. This is our today's objective, right? So let's start with this. So you can see that I've already made a Java project under the Eclipse IDE with the name yik.java, like some ambiguous name, right? Like it doesn't have any like significance. Okay, you can see that like I've already have like set up the Eclipse for you. So let's start with this. First of all, like you can see we have one package name called Flink join. Okay, next we have some set of packages, like all the packages which I've already have used in the previous video. This is exactly same with the only one change. Like we have added one more thing which is called join function package, because we're gonna make use of like joins in this case, right? Rest everything is same. Map is for map transformation. Dataset, you know that this is one of the basic abstraction of Apache Flink. Execution environment, like you know that it's the first step like of any Flink program to set up the environment of execution, which can be local or remote. Next is tuple2 or tuple3, meaning is a basic unit that we use in Apache Flink. So next is a parameter tool through which we'll be reading or we'll be processing our input and output arguments. Okay, this is nothing but we have some set of packages. After packages, like my main class starts from here. Then we have a main function. The first line is again exactly same, that setting up the environment. Like I've already have explained this in a previous video, in which like we are making use of the class execution environment, in which we are creating the object with the name env, and the environment has been returned by get execution environment statement. Okay, afterwards that we have next step is again a common one, which is common among all the Flink programs, to make use of parameter tools. Parameter tool meaning is like when we gonna write the Flink command to execute this program, we need to specify our input and output arguments. To read those arguments and to process those arguments, we need this parameter tool. Third step is that when we are working with a distributed environment, like every node should be should assess those parameters, or should be capable enough to like assess those parameters. So that's the reason we are keeping it at global job parameters. So this is the three common things that is you will find in every Flink program. Okay, let's start with our today's program with the new thing which we need to add to this program, right? The first thing is you can see here like these are two similar things available. These two are exactly the same, no change at all. So why we have I've written this thing twice, because like we are dealing with the joins and we need to read two files, right? So that's the reason like we are having these two things in a repetitive manner. Okay, let's start with this. Let me first tell you what's the meaning of this paragraph. So this is nothing but we are creating the first dataset with the name file1, and dataset is of tuple2 nature. It means it will be accommodating the two things, integer and string. And here we are reading the file with the basic function of reading, which is called read text file, and we are specifying here input1, meaning is that when we are gonna write the Flink command to run this program, we need to specify our two input parameters. The first input parameter will be input1. That's the reason we are putting it as input1 in the double quotes. Afterwards, like once we have read the file, right? Once we have read the file, then we need to specify my first transformation on this file with the map operation. So what is map operation? It will help us in read the data, right? Although like I've already have specified that we already have read the file, but we need to specify the structure, that how the file will be separated. Okay, what's the delimiter we are using? So this will be specified with the help of map. Okay, and map is making use of the map function, and this map function will expect the input in the string, and it will be emitting the output in the form of integer comma string. That's the reason you can see that it is inputting, input is string, and the output is tuple2, which is of integer comma string. Okay, here's the definition. You can see that like I have already told you that the map will be expecting the answer in the input in the string. You can see the string, and we are taking as variable one variable called value of the type string. And here what we are specifying, that we have specified that the input file will be separated by comma. First of all, let me just show you what we have in this file, input 1. It is in my home location only, so let me show you this input 1. This is my input 1 and this is my input 2. You can see that both the files are comma separated, and for the sake of simplicity, right, I've just taken like 2 columns only, and we have just some very few rows available. So how to interpret this two data files? First data file correspond to ID and name, and second data file correspond to ID and country. So you know that like here we are performing the inner join. So inner join meaning is that it will just compare the common IDs. So in this case, common ID is 1, 2, right, and 4. So what we are expecting in the answer, we will be expecting 1 Amrit, India, 2 Sunny, South Africa, and then we have a 4 Sumit, Australia. Like in this way, like answer should be there, right? As per the DBMS like inner join like principle. So we'll see in a while what will be the output, but this is my 2 input files, right? Okay. So like we are reading these 2 files, right? And then we are putting in a transformation in the form of map, and map is expecting the input in the string, and it will be emitting the answer in the integer comma string. So it will take this as a string, one comma Amrit, and it will be emitting as a one separate, Amrit separate. So like 1 will be having index 0, Amrit will be having index 1. So 1 like will be in the index 0, sorry, Amrit will be in the index 1. In this way it will be done. You can see here like we have specified that the value like map is taking the like input as a string which is stored in the value, okay, and afterwards the value will be split in the form of comma, and will be putting all the words, all the things in the word array, words, okay, in the case of array, which is string array. Okay, afterwards what we are doing is like now we are returning the tuple 2. One thing I want to say here in this case, that you can see that there's a similarity between this and this here and this, that whatever we are inputting, we are returning the same thing. Like in this case we are inputting tuple 2 and we are returning also a tuple 2. This is the common characteristic of dataset. Dataset will expect the same input and same output. Like if it is in a tuple 2, it will return tuple 2. If it is in a tuple 3, it will return tuple 3. So what is it is returning? It is returning tuple 2, again integer comma string. In this case, like we'll be having the 2 things, words comma word 0 and words 1. I've already told you what is the words. Words is nothing but a string array here. Okay, so what will be answer? Answer will be 1 comma Amrit. Okay, in this way. Here we are making use of parse integer just to like convert to the integer from a string. Like we are just doing the parsing here. I hope it is fine. So like in this case, what we have done is we have read the file and we have separated the the things which is being separated by comma, because the file was comma separated file, right? And this way that we have separated the ID and the name. Similarly, we are reading the second file. You can see that this is the second file we are reading here. Again, we are creating a second data set which is of name file 2, and file 2 will be our data set which is of the tuple 2 nature. It will be having the integer and string, and as the input parameters. You can see that in this case we are keeping it as input 2. So my second input parameter will be input 2 when we are running this like command of Flink at the end of the program. Okay, and again we are immediately applying the map transformation like similar to the previous step, and again we are like splitting the a file with on the basis of comma separator, and we are again saving the word, saving the contents in the word string array. And similarly we are returning tuple 2 because input was tuple 2, that's why we are returning tuple 2 here as well. Similarly here the answer should be, answer should be one separate, one will be having index 0 and India will be index 1 in this way. Okay, so once we have read the file and once we have done like applied the map transformation, the last step is to do the join operation. Okay, so that's the reason we have a last thing is coming up which is called join. In this case, because you know that in the case of inner join we'll be expecting 3 columns: ID, name, country. Okay, that's the reason we are taking dataset of tuple 3 nature, and the dataset name is joined. Okay, you can see that integer, string, string. Integer correspond to ID, string correspond to name, and string correspond to state or country. Okay, so you can see that here we have specified that file 1, which is my first file. You can see that this is a file 1. This is my first file which we have read, file 1. It is joined with, this is a join keyword, with the file 2. File 2. Okay, on the condition where 0. Where 0 meaning is where the first column of the file 1. Mind you that the tuples index start from 0. So the first column of the file 1 will be joined with the equal to means condition. The first column of the file 1 will be compared with the first column of file 2, okay, which is ID. Okay, because we need to join two tables, join two files based upon some common column. Okay, and this line indicates that what kind of answer we expect. Okay, because we'll be expecting the answer in the form of three columns. So we need to specify the structure in which structure we'll be expecting the answer. You can see here we are specifying here with the with keyword, and we are using join function, and you can see that this is nothing but my two input files, okay, which I've already specified in the upper part of a program, tuple to integer string, tuple to integer string, and in which manner we'll be expecting the answer, tuple 3. If you don't write this, like we may get some other we may not get the expected answer. So if you want the answer in the specific format, need to specify like explicitly tuple 3 here. Okay, otherwise you may end up with the tuple 2 answer, right? So that's the reason, because we want the answer in specific format, we need to specify my credentials, input and output credentials. Here we are specifying the definition here is available, that input 1 of this nature, right, and input 2 of this nature, like this is under the join, and this is my output file. In this structure will be getting my output. Okay, what we are returning, tuple 3, because I've already told you that in a data set, if you are inputting tuple 3, you'll be expecting tuple 3. So tuple 3 of this order only, integer, string, string, meaning is ID, person name, state or country. And what we are selecting, we are selecting the first column from input 1, first file, second column from first file, input 1, and second column from the second file. Please don't get confused, as I've already told you that index of the tuple start from 0. So this indicates the first column of the first file, second column of first file, and second column of second file. Okay, this will be my answer. At last we are writing the answer back to our disk with the help of write as CSV. And last, as I've already have specified in my previous video as well, that nothing will be executed until and unless you write this method execute with the environment object, which we have got from my environment. Okay, env.execute, this is nothing but my name of my job, join example. You can have any name here. So this marks the end of this program. I hope you must have understood. Now time has come to run this program. I've already have exported the jar file out of it. So let me now run it for you. Okay, jar file as I'm already have. Okay, so this is the my structure. You can see this is the command. As I've already told you that input 1, I've already specified in the argument that first input argument will be of input 1, second input argument will be specified using input 2, and output will be stored in this file, flink join output. So the command is flink space run space complete location to the jar file hyphen hyphen first input argument. Input argument is input 1 is my first file. This is the first file, and similarly second input argument, and third is nothing but my output argument. So, okay, so press enter. Okay, so we get answer. So let me run this. Let me see the content with the cat command. You can see I got answer because I've told you that 1 to 4 was the common thing, and we were expecting the same answer. So I hope that you must have understood this concept, okay, that how to implement a basic inner join in the Flink program. For the sake of simplicity, I have taken the very basic data set. Okay, so in the next video, I'll be telling you that how we can implement other kind of joins, which include the outer right full outer join, right out join, or left join. So I hope you'll be joining me in next video as well. Thanks for watching. See you next video.